What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Another edition of Holy Try Football Podcast, Week 0 edition. A little team preview in here. We're going to tie up any loose ends before the season starts. Now that we're back stateside, it's me, AY, from the beautiful state capital, the blue state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. To my west, D-Berg, what's up?
Ready to break it down. We got a 6-pack of games, right?
Yeah.
And 7-pack. I stand corrected. Anyway,
one of them's
and then I will bumble through, 11 minutes of a pit preview where anyone's guess is as good as mine as to what exactly they're going to be, what the strengths will be, what the weaknesses will be.
We know what the strength will be, but we'll get to that.
Do not take it to the bank, whatever I say this evening.
We know what the strength will be. Ken, welcome home to my
Thank
east.
You.
What's up?
Yep, closer to the east now, not the far east. It was a lot further east before, but weather is a little chilly. It's not categorized as cold, but
oh, jeez,
it is. There's a little breeze. It's a little chilly when you're not exercising or whatnot. Walking home. I like it. It feels like fall.
Yeah. Today's
it was above 90 degrees here today, I think so.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. It was.
No.
I think it's like high of 80 over here. So when the sun goes down, it's not chilly, but it could be a little wind in your hair.
Yeah, felt good out there today. Some of these mornings have been getting nice. I know it's not going to last, but it's good to get a little taste of it, even if it's a little tease. But yeah, next week, calendar turns to September. And with week 0 upon us, it is football season. So we have the countdown today was 3 to go. Tomorrow's 2. And then 1. And then kick off the season overseas. Hopefully the Irish or Navy don't suffer the same fate as Northwestern last year and are only able to win on that continent for a while. So we'll see how that goes. We'll get to that later on. But before we do, we have some previews to get to. And I have some thoughts, too. I know we had some playoff predictions last time, but I kind of want to edit mine a little bit now that I've got a little more into it.
I would say, yeah, we did. Yeah, this will be the ironclad.
On the record.
Yeah. On the record.
We'll just, we'll get a few more out there. I got some thoughts. I'm just going to throw one out here. I think there's a pretty decent shot that Penn State goes to the playoff. I'll tell you that.
Ooh.
I don't think that's a bad pick.
Oh, I didn't think
We'll see. We'll talk it through. We'll talk it through.
We'll wrap up with that. Let's get into some team previews, though. And we'll just go wherever from there. I will go last because I'll just preview the game at that point, do it all in one.
Smart.
Dan, you alluded to your Pitt 11-minute preview, so you're on the clock now.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I'll get in and get out here.
Same.
Lots of changes. Although the one thing that has not changed in over 2 decades is that Pitt has not won less than 5 games in a year. So some way, by hook or by crook, they will find a way to near bowl eligibility, or if they do not reach bowl eligibility, maybe beat the number 2 team, whoever that might be. And if you're looking at their schedule, that means it would be Duke. They will end the season with a win over at number 2 Duke.
And then have a Heisman finalist in a couple of years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Quarterback.
So the cycle goes. I did get a text not too long ago from a friend after Darrelle Revis's induction in the NFL Hall of Fame. It was whatever, Pitt's tied for 4th most NFL Hall of Famers. I said, and that's why they're perennial top 5 team. Sadly, not the case. Yep. It's a random, if nothing else, this stupid sport. So I will get on the depth chart here, quarterback, and then we'll navigate from there on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know if this is who AY was alluding to, but Phil Dracovic is the starter. I don't know if he's formally been announced the starter. He is the starter, at least for the beginning of the season, along with Christian Perilou, a.k.a. Veer, came from Penn State. And then also Nate Yarnell, who started a game last year, the ultimate revenge game against Western Michigan. and got the win in Kalamazoo. Couldn't remember. So it'll be Dracovic, and then if he stinks, who knows what we could be looking at by October, whether it's going to be Veilleux or Yarnell. I don't know if they'll actually formally announce. Normally they'll do a lot of ors on the depth chart. So it could be Phil Dracovic and then Christian Veilleux or Nate Yarnell.
They do that for quarterback, though, you think?
I remember over the years being a lot of ors on the released depth chart. And then, of course, it might not be either. It might not be either or. It could be somebody else.
Is that only a college thing? 'Cause I'm very used to seeing ors. I feel like the other day somebody made a comment about Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask, who's since now Baker.
Yeah,
it was listed as Baker or Trask, and someone was so taken aback by an or on an NFL depth chart.
I mean, it could be. Yeah, I don't
maybe
really
it's just
study.
A college thing.
This is now. I've been retired from fantasy football since 2018, so I haven't looked at an NFL depth chart in quite some time.
Sidebar: I'm down. I got down to one league now.
Oh yeah,
ooh, very nice.
Just take that final
all
step.
All in.
Although, isn't this like a big, long-standing fantasy football league that you're in?
I just quit 2 that were like 15 years.
Oh
yeah,
year. It's liberating.
One to go. So
I'm sure I'll get the text here from Davey, the conductor, in the next week and a half. Hey, any interest in fantasy football this year?
The slow fade. By this time next year, we should be good. But as far as depth chart, I feel like a Harbaugh depth chart, the only words on there are or.
And that's what I think a lot of coaches have since taken a page out of his book. So we'll see how it shakes out. Like I said, I'm not opening up with Wofford. Not going to learn much from that. Probably based on how the season's going, come October, see if that changes at all in the quarterback room. I have if you came here for the takes on Pitt football, I'm not going to offer up many because I don't know what that's going to go on. I'm a little bit wary of Frank Signetti, whose offense last year torpedoed a chance at going back playing Clemson. I think there's no secret about that. So allowing him he is the offensive coordinator after all, but allowing him to have the keys to the car after the shit product we got last year doesn't leave you warm and fuzzy, that's for sure. Running back, this is what I would say. There's about 3 guys on this offense who have done some things, and at least Rodney Hammond is one of those guys. I even have my own question marks with him being the starting running back. We'll see. They've definitely got guys who played and got carries. Also, Sibo Flemister, Derek Davis Jr., the safety or defensive back turned running back at the last minute at LSU, transferring back to Pitt from Gateway High School, and then Daniel Carter, who kind of doubles as a fullback as well. So those guys have all at least had some experience, some level of experience carrying the ball and done things. But Rodney Hammond, going to be a big year in terms of whether he's just a complementary piece, as he was quite successfully last 2 years, or if he's going to actually take the step and be the bell cow, or he'll just have, say, 60 to 70% of the carries and have a decent season. Time will tell on that. Over the receiving room, definitely the weak spot by most accounts. I certainly can't find a ton of optimism here in this room, but we'll see what happens. Kanate Mumfield, the Akron transfer, was not super effective in his first year, nor was Bub Means, but we'll see. One of the great names on this Pitt roster, how much he can step forward with the exit of Jared Wayne, who was I think he had over 1,000 yards last year. Certainly the primary target.
He's no
receiving court. He was no Reggie Wayne, no, but he was. I liked him a lot actually. Even before last year, he was certainly a guy who make big plays from time to time, but not a burner necessarily. Not a super athletic guy, just a really, oh shit, he's got the ball and then he's running 25 yards downfield. Mostly because Jordan Addison was covered, and then last year he just turned into a regular productive receiver one. So. Nobody in the room currently. Hopefully, someone will emerge. Dejon Reynolds is a receiver who transferred from Florida. Only thing I read about him was he had 2 touchdowns against Vandy in a losing effort. So there's that. Israel Polk and Lamar Seymour apparently are the two freshman receivers that there's some. My neighbors outdoors started making noise. Two freshman receivers that may have to step up and contribute, but there's also Zion Fowler L from out in Kansas neck of the woods. SVP. I don't remember. I don't think he was Fowler L whenever he committed to Pitt. So the dash L is.
I think he is the one that got relieved from school. Later.
Yeah, you've got some inside scoop on that one because I believe he was the rare decommit and recommit. To Pitt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. That's
glad to see he made it on campus, though. Good to see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They pushed it through. So jump over the tight end. Gavin Bartholomew had a great freshman season. Again, in the similar vein of Rodney Hammond, could it have been the giant blonde-haired target Lucas Kroll drawing some fire that created opportunities for him, or could it have just been Kenny Pickett being super effective his senior year at distributing the ball? Time will tell on that. He certainly didn't emerge despite having a great catch and run against Tennessee early in the season last year. Not so much since then, but the passing attack really didn't do much to begin with. So I don't want to say was the lone low light, I should say, on the offensive side of the ball last year. So the offensive line, which is kind of like last year, hyped somewhat, despite some of the turnover from all five starters that came back for last year, and didn't really deliver either. The offense last year was just a general disappointment. Brandon Taylor left tackle, and then Ryan Baer, who apparently, per Carl Zovko, our big favorite here.
Back to Copio Insider now.
Yeah, for quite a long time, even prior to his time at Pitt, was his biggest surprise commitment. When I listened to his interview, he did an interview with PantherLayer.com, Panther-Layer / whatever. There's all kind of different plugs. It's hilarious.
It was incredible pluggage.
Yes. So Ryan Baer was apparently he's very, very flexible in terms of where he could fit in on this offensive line. But as of now, he's listed as a backup. So they got Ryan Jacoby, who came in from Ohio State 2 years ago, I believe. Jake Credo, who started, as well as Blake Zubovic and Matt Gonsalves. But on this podcast, it is Matt Gone Cavs.
Gone Cavs. I did not know it was a Salves.
Oh, yeah. That was it's not. He may say it's pronounced that way, but it's not on this podcast. So there's some.
Carl, I'm seeing him getting into it with Aaron Murray. This is good.
Aaron Murray, the former Georgia quarterback?
Yes. Yeah, and I think ESPN man. Yeah, he's ESPN and Sirius. I like.
Some of us know him better from The Bachelor.
Right.
True. Oh my gosh. On the defensive side of the ball, should be somewhat solid, but at any point could give up 500 passing yards to any team. So Deion Hayes certainly going to be a featured play on this defense. Has been a quick career by most accounts. I'm kind of stealing that from the aforementioned Chris Peak, but definitely he's already a senior. It doesn't seem like all that long ago he came onto campus. Devin Daniels has been there for 18 years. Big number 95. I believe he was also the guy that smashed his face with his helmet against Miami. You may know him from that clip. David Green, equally 18-year player on the defensive line. So then they've got, and this is where it's a little bit unclear. They have Nakai Johnson listed as the starting defensive end, but like most defensive lines, a lot of heavy rotation. Who knows what I think of the those four starters, he will be the one that rotates out probably the most, but we'll see what happens once the games start getting played. At linebacker, Solomon DeShields contributed at times, but certainly wasn't a starter. They definitely like the defensive line, like to rotate linebackers in and out. Shane Simon from Notre Dame, decent contributor last year coming in from the Irish. We'll see if he can level it up a little bit. Bengali Kamara is another one. Seems pretty quick. He's already just a true senior. I don't know if he'll end up taking the COVID year if, depending on the production level this year. We'll see. Not too much in terms of the reserves or the guys will be rotating in, I have to add. So we'll go into the secondary. MJ Devonshire, AJ Woods, PJ/Philip O'Brien has gone by both names, Javon McIntyre, safety, and then Marquise Williams, Mr. I'm super disrespected on Twitter. If you have seen, he does not take kindly to any, even if you sniff criticism, it will be called out by Marquise Williams. So I would say of the three levels there, since we have a little bit more of a sample size to go off of, the secondary could all of a sudden be a group of strength, despite being torchable at times, given the style of the defense that Pat Narduzzi and Randy Bates play. So I'm hoping that the level of experience will keep those to a minimum. Obviously, on the schedule, we'll get into here momentarily. Some quarterbacks, I would say, just glancing 4, maybe 5, depending on if you want to include the shredder as a quarterback that could light you up. And that's certainly where we ran into issues back in 2016, which I still think that's Pat Narduzzi's best team. It's close.
Where's the shredder at right now?
Syracuse,
right? He's
still there. Well,
still there.
All these guys transferred.
Or who knows? Maybe Carlos Del Rio Wilson could have made the.
I was going to say, do they still have Carlos Del Rio Wilson?
Yeah. Well, I got to see up close and personal in a 1999 Classic.
Who's I should have this. Do we know who Tech started? They started Burmeister.
Maybe. I actually have no idea who they're. I couldn't tell you a single player on Virginia Tech right now. That's no jive. I don't have anybody.
They had some QB depth.
Yeah.
But watch out for Armstrong this year too. So yeah.
I know he's the pack. He made the move over to the pack.
Intra-division.
Yep.
Or is it intra-division?
Well, I guess there's no divisions anymore. So
yeah.
Intra-conference.
Sorry.
Yep. And then Ben Saul is the kicker, I will note. Very interesting. I'm sure I pointed out during the podcast, one of the podcasts we had last year. Came in, I think he was a scholarship, recruited out of high school, lost his job, and then comes back off the mat and has become pretty reliable, at least last year. So hopefully he can keep that going forward. And then that's really all I've had. I can't even offer up an opinion on the offense. It's so
pie in the sky.
Shoulder shrug. It's just a big shoulder shrug right now. Hopefully a couple guys will emerge at least. Like I said, Rodney Hamm would be the one that I would think has the best chance, given the style of offense they want to run. Certainly get a healthy dose of the run game, and then hopefully some of these receivers. Bub Means gets a lot of, amongst pit circles, of course, gets a lot of praise, or a lot of people pointed out his apparent physical gifts, but we'll see if that can translate into production. Schedule. Here we go. Game by game, right? This is how we do it usually. I don't even remember from last year. I should have watched the last year's preview to brush up, but I'll go game by game. Wofford, I think that'll be a W.
Okay.
Who knows, though? It has happened in the past. Now, I think they will win that. I won't be. By now I will not be picking them to cover against the spread. I never do in these FCS games. Cincinnati, I think they'll win that one. I do think they'll fall at West Virginia in a probably pretty ugly game, unless Penn State completely. If Penn State does to West Virginia what Alabama infamously did to Florida State the one year in 2017, then that would be a 3-0 start. I'll go. But
aren't the Mountaineers really bad?
Yeah, they are very bad.
But they weren't great last year,
and it was a close game.
And they had to slip on the banana peel for Pitt to win.
But that's also the first game of the year. This before everybody's.
It's as they say, throw the records out in the rivalry game.
That's true. Is this the last time for a little bit, or are they playing some more?
A little bit, but they got back on. Yeah, I don't know when. I can.
Who knows where we'll be in 5 years?
Yeah, well, they might be conference based by then.
Could be, yeah. North Carolina at home, I think they'll fall there as well. Quarterback number 1 that could make them pay, Mr. Drake May, although he was having a very tough time in the first half last year, and then eventually had his way down down the stretch against Pitt. So we'll see. I mean, certainly both winnable games, but I think coming out of the shoot 2-2, and then I think they'll get on a little bit of a run here heading to South Bend at Virginia Tech. Like I said, I literally don't know one player. I'll probably be eating my words, and some mook will go for 400 yards passing or 250 yards rushing, something stupid. But I think they'll win that game. Then they're on the bye week, home for Louisville. They'll win that game. That one I'm actually maybe slightly irrationally confident, but I just don't. I think Louisville football, it's kind of crazy, the iterations they've had going back to what I can remember. Of course, the great Dave Ragone. And then they have these great teams with Petrino 1.0. And then Brom, who was the – so it was Petrino – when did Petrino – yeah, so he was all the way up. Petrino 1.0 was all the way up till before Cragthorpe came and took a dump. And then Charlie Strong was meh, but punctuated well at the end. And then Petrino, too, like it was just – this has been a whirlwind for them. And I wouldn't say it's at its peak right now with a Brom son returning. So maybe down the road he'll be a little bit he'll get that thing going, but not super high at the moment. At Woke is another one. I think they'll win that game. I don't even know what the remnants are left after Hartman left, and they take they're a little bit of a pop gun reload program. So I think they'll be down a little bit.
I got a nice new facility, though, that he just unveiled.
Okay. All right. Into the leg one of the Djokovic revenge. What did I just? Oh, the revenge tour in South Bend. I do not feel great about that one. Especially, obviously, love to see how the offense is playing leading up to that, but that smells like it could be. Maybe not quite as bad as the 2020 game, but if they're running a stupid offense, and by that I mean just not well, offense not running well, that could get Irish could snowball them in a hurry. Home for Florida State. That's obviously I would say a pivotal game from an ACC standpoint because at this point I only have them having. I have one conference loss. What's that?
Cold weather, November.
Colder weather, yeah.
Colder weather.
I don't think they're going to win, though. I was pretty high on Florida State. Still remain that way. I think they will lose that one. And then probably they play Syracuse. I love how it says verse. It's at Syracuse for all intents and purposes at Yankee Stadium. They'll win that game. BC, I don't know what's left in them, but short week. Thursday night, we talked about it beforehand. And then at Duke, I don't know, where are you guys at on Duke?
Riley's nice. I do like Elko.
Yeah.
He's good.
The game last year was an instant classic.
Yes, I was watching that at the beach.
Yeah.
In July. David was not all too happy.
He was David. That happens with Dave.
I don't know what to make. Duke will be good. I think eight wins. Forget what I said about what I thought about them, but yeah, I think that it's a classic Pitt ACC game. I feel like the 3 through 8, 9, they're all interchangeable, right?
Yep. What the hell? Let's say Nate Yarnell leads them to a victory at Wallace Wade Stadium.
Yeah,
that's kind of my hope, but I'm always biased for better or worse with the guys that were recruited to actually play on the team instead of transfer portal chicanery. So let's see that if I give them that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 and 4. I think their win total is 6.5. So I've got a slight edge to the over. I don't know what the over under is, but some tricky spots there. I just don't know what to make of them. And instead of doing what I've done in the past when previewing this, I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. They were good on defense last year. Oh, they were good on offense. There's not going to be that much of a drop off, even though you're turning over 40% of the roster. 40% of the starters on offense. Oh yeah, I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. It'll be fine. Not going to do that this year. Just going to play the old percentages, I think, in a lot of those games. Just kind of a meh year, which have those in spades. So I would be surprised if they won less than 6 games, though.
That would be surprising.
Yeah,
it should be good. I mean, it
could be. It could.
He's raised the floor.
Can't come on. You know I am with could versus should. Come on,
yeah.
It could be.
Well, I mean, how can you say they should? They've lost a decent amount of production here, but you have. I mean, he's got the proven track record with the defensive line, getting people prepared, and he's got a pipeline there now. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
So, what's your number?
Win total 8.
Yeah, 8.
I will go 8-4. Write it down. Hopefully, don't etch it in stone. I would love a surprise. 10-2, but
that'd be nice.
That seems a bit of an uphill battle with the quarterback. So I meant to highlight. So quarterbacks that can the torchable quarterback candidates. Drake May, obviously. Sam Hartman with the Irish. Jordan Travis for FSU. Riley Leonard, Duke, and then again, the swing man there, the shredder. It would be a torching in a different color, where he runs for like 125 yards and throws for 250 to the guy, almost all to that guy. What's his name? Gadsden, Aronde Gadsden is the one good. Yeah. Something like that. Something crazy like that.
I got 8-4.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. 8-4 is fair.
Yeah.
What's the over?
I think it's around 6 or 6.5.
So you're taking the over.
8.
Easy.
I'm not taking it. I suppose
easy
after
over there. Easy over.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, real easy.
Easy over.
You know how easy it is for them to win games. God
I'm ready
almighty.
for that. That BC game's gonna be good.
Oh, Thursday nighter.
And by the way, doubling back to my Louisville point, Jack the Snack Plumber is there.
People are loving Louisville this year.
I
don't.
They love Brom. They always have.
Love Brom. People love. They love him, and then the synergy of being back home. I mean, what's not to like? And you get Jack the Snack back. He's worked with them before. He knows the system.
How about I'm looking now? Dino Tomlin listed as a projected starter on BC's wide receiving corps.
I thought he was at Maryland.
He was. And then AY is ready for the Emmett Moorhead v. Phil Dracovic clash.
Wow.
What a name.
I'm looking up Carlos Del Rio Wilson right now.
While you're doing this, should I dive in? Should I dive in? I won't.
Keep it moving here.
Moving here. You did go over the 11 minutes allotted.
I think I talked about the roster for 11 minutes then.
Okay.
Had a little bit more fun with it.
Okay, I hear you. Well, we know what everybody's looking at, right? The ballyhooed freshman that came in last year, now sophomore, Drew Aller.
The LR.
Duking it out with classmate Bo Prabula. Does look like he's getting the vast majority of the number one reps with the first team. So I think it is safe to assume. And from all reports, he looks very good in camp. He's got a lot of wild plays. He's been lighting it up, but it's not to say that he hasn't had a lot of some down moments too. Consistency, I think, is the key here. He'll wow, but then he'll have some down moments as well from all the practice reports, evening things out and making sure that there's not the big mistake, that he doesn't try to force things, I think is the important thing, because obviously he's got the arm talent. He can make every throw. They say that between the ears, he's been pretty good as well. The one thing that does worry me, Penn State's got a really good defense, which we'll get into in a little bit, but there have been scrimmages where the defense has been able to have their way with the offensive line, though they've been holding back certain pieces and having pitch counts for certain guys. So it's not necessarily the full number one line, but there have been practices where the defense has had their way and has been able to bother him. I think that's the only real ding things and kind of downers I've heard from camp for LR, but by all accounts, it should be. They're expecting big things from him this year. Which why wouldn't you? He's a 5-star. Obviously, the big question mark also is the people he'll be throwing to. Parker Washington leaves, which would be great for him to have somebody like that to lean on, but really they're looking for people to step up here. Keandre Lambert-Smith is a senior now. He's played since his freshman year, but he's been very inconsistent with his hands, but has the ability and natural traits to be a number one, a good number one, and he's had a good camp. And he's emerged as the number one receiver. Whether he's good enough or he lives up to what other past number ones have done, like Jahan Dotson or Godwin, that remains to be seen. He needs to step up. Drew and him have a good rapport, as do him and another slot receiver, Caden Saunders. Though Caden Saunders, I don't think has really emerged yet. The other number 2 receiver to keep an eye out for is Trey Wallace. He has emerged so those two have emerged as the clear-cut top 2 guys. He can jump out of the gym, athletic freak. Hasn't really refined his skills yet, but he's taken a step from all accounts this year. So look for those two to be penciled in there and getting a good amount of run. The next tier is where you've seen a lot of competition, and there's the transfer from Kent State, Dante Cephas, who's taking a little bit to get going. He's still getting his feet under him. Hopefully he'll be able to get things going. I'm hoping, as if I were a Penn State fan, I'd be hoping probably by the end of the first month of the season. Hopefully he catches his stride. It's been a little bit of a change of pace for him. He didn't get in the spring semester like most most transfers and grad transfers do. He had some things to wrap up at Kent State, so was finishing up the degree there before he could transfer over. And so he didn't arrive until about a month and a half, 2 months ago. So he's still getting his feet under him, along with guys like Omari Evans, who's a speedster, and then Liam Clifford, who the last name will be familiar from his brother. There's a number of guys in there, Caden Saunders I mentioned before, that are duking it out for some more reps in there. And I think that if they don't emerge, and if there's not got names that really, really stand out and take the next step that they're looking for, you'll see a lot more reliance on the tight ends, who, again, should have a very good room. I know we've heard that before from this room, but they actually feel better even after losing second-round draft pick Brenton Strange. They got Theo Johnson, who's a big guy. Tyler Warren, also a big athletic guy. They call each other the Monsters.
Wild fat ass, exactly. He's out there.
You guys have so many sweet nicknames for your position.
The Monsters, those two guys. And then Dinkins, the Pitt legacy, they really like him as well. So
God, yeah, don't remind me.
Those are the 3 from our friend Leo Wisniewski. He's friends with Dinkins' dad and has heard that he's really taken the next step, according to inside sources. Maybe a little biased, the father, but
no.
Well, they're excited about that room, and maybe early on, if there hasn't been the emergence from a receiving standpoint from that second tier of receivers, we'll see more 2 tight end sets, or maybe even 3, right, to go along with those guys. Obviously, I won't spend too much time on the backfield. They've got a pair of sophomores coming back that are confident, bigger, better, stronger, faster. Every good adjective you want to find in the book for running back there, they are it. They've been limiting some of their run this camp in preparation for what should be a big year. They're excited about them, and they'll have Minnesota transfer coming in, Trey Potts taking in number 3 running back role. They'll be running behind what should be the best offensive line Penn State's had in probably 2 decades, right? Close to it, 15 to 20 years.
Don't discount Steph's offense.
No, I think that's what I'm saying. I'll go back to there then. Those lines were good.
Yeah, they were.
But we're approaching that 2-decade mark, probably 15 years. These guys, you got experience and you got talent coming back. Last year, Olu, if you guys remember, he was out for the back half of the year. which brought in a freshman. Landon Tangwell was out after the Michigan game as well, which allowed a lot of experience for a couple other guys. So you've got depth now on top of talent. Obviously, Olu is the headliner, a potential top 10 draft pick. Is exciting to have. But you got guys that have played a lot in there. Salim Wormley, he's a redshirt senior, was in line to start a couple years ago before he had a season-ending injury. But he started all of last year and has had a good spring and summer. Norzad is starting at center, Cornell transfer, and he's adjusted well. Obviously, a smart guy. You need to be smart to play center. Ivy League guy. But he was nicked last year, so a lot of people were nervous about him. But he was playing injured last year. Hopefully he could stay healthy. Right tackle, there was a little bit of a battle between a senior and Caden Wallace and Drew Shelton. But Wallace has he's for his physical traits he has, and being a top 100 prospect coming out of high school, he's relatively speaking been a disappointment. He's been kind of a whipping boy and target of a lot of complaints on message boards and whatnot. He hasn't totally put it together up to this point, but things have been reports have been good. Cautiously optimistic. So the line, along with those guys, they should have depth. Like I said, people that will be playing and rotating in. So excited to run behind that. Hopefully, ease Drew in the first couple of games, but really worried. And we'll be looking towards that third game of the year at Illinois as his first road game. We'll see where things go. We'll get into the schedule here in a little bit. The defense, I mentioned a minute ago. You guys probably heard about it. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably listened to a bunch of other ones. This is going to be and should be expected to be a top 5 defense. Manny Diaz coming back maybe for his final year as defensive coordinator at Penn State. Who knows? If things go the way they should, I would expect him to be out the door by the end of the season. Back to Temple, maybe. If there's a good opportunity, I do expect him to be on the short list. Or maybe he'll be selective. Who knows? But he's got talent and potential All-American candidates at all 3 levels, which is awesome. I'll start out. They got a bevy of talent, basically 3 starters at defensive end, with Chop Robinson, who's projected to be a top 2 round draft pick. He's a freak athlete down there. Comparisons to Micah. A guy that started out a linebacker at Maryland and kind of a Micah role, and now he's fully handed the dirt. Last year was the first year that he was fully handed the dirt as a defensive end, and he really came on in the second half of the year and has had a great spring and summer. You got him along with Adisa Isaac, who came off an Achilles injury last year and was kind of slow out of the gates, really also came into speed, and another offseason has helped him feel 100% at this point. But he was also a top 100 recruit coming out of high school and is a physical specimen. And that's not even talking about 5-star guy, Denai Dennis Sutton, who played last year as a freshman. He's been, by a lot of accounts, the best defensive end. So a 3-headed monster there. He got depth. A couple of other guys that are also be pushing, including Aliquippa's Zariah Fisher, who's coming off injury and has had a good spring. Defensive tackle, I think this is the biggest question mark coming into the fall camp, and they feel reasonably content about it, I think. They've had people that have stepped up. You got people like Devon Ellies and Keziah Izzard, who've played a lot, veteran guys, but not necessarily superstars, but they played a lot of football. You pair that with explosive guys like Zane Durant and Hakeem Beeman, who has actually put on weight. He's been trying to put on weight the last couple of years. He's been on campus and hasn't been able to. They always had explosiveness. Hopefully, with the added weight, he hasn't lost a step. They feel reasonably good about it. And look out for Vandenberg, the South African guy by way of Georgia, junior college guy. He's had a good summer as well. They've raved about him in their defensive tackle. Chop, going to the linebackers, you got Abdul Carter. Going into last year, it was a big question mark. It was the linebacking core. Abdul Carter really emerged very quickly, actually. And
is he your best player?
I think he's the most explosive one. He's the most exciting, I think. I think he's the most exciting.
I mean, he's awesome. I just didn't know
Yeah.
like how it really rated.
If he's the best, I mean, like I said, they've got talent all over the field. It's hard to say if he's the best.
Okay, we get.
I'd probably say Olu. Olu is the best, right? Olu Fashion, he's going to be top 10 draft pick. He's probably the best player.
Nah, I don't. I read it. I read up because I was comparing him to Alt, and
Yeah,
I read about him.
Chris Alt.
yeah.
Chris Alt, pony up, scarf.
Oh,
No, it's probably Olu. Yeah,
yeah.
Abdul
But-
Carter's your sweetest though.
Oh, he's sweet. His closing speed, and again, like the running backs, bigger, faster, stronger. He came in. He wasn't an early enrollee last year. He came in May, June, first summer session. Came into spring practice. Obviously, he played the one snap in the Purdue game, and then got ejected for targeting. And then he started playing a couple games and really came on in the back half of the year. Really blossomed. Obviously, he's a superstar. Curtis Jacobs is back. He tested NFL waters. Hasn't necessarily had the production, but he's also a guy that, has the athletic intangibles. Then to pair that with Kobe King, who would probably be the other starter there. He's steadily come on. He's the twin brother of Kalen King, who is also projected to be early, first half of the second round, maybe late first round draft pick at corner. So they're excited, and then they've got a couple of depth guys. Dom DeLuca, a former walk-on, that is now wearing number 0 for special teams captaincy, but he's backing up, also providing depth along with Elsdon at linebacker. So they feel good about the linebackers. Obviously, you got a superstar there with Abdul Carter, and then a guy that's no slouch in Curtis Jacobs. So excited about that unit. And then the secondary, you got Kalen King, who is potential All-American, and then Johnny Dixon, who has actually from reports, had the best camp of any of the corners, right? So that's exciting. This is a guy that is developed. He was a transfer from South Carolina and potentially could play himself into a mid-round draft pick, right? And that's great, especially coming off of losing somebody like a Joey Porter Jr. And then having a guy on one side that's a potential All-American in Kalen King. He's going to get his fair share of opportunities to make plays. So it's time for him to step up and make that jump and hopefully make himself some money, right? He had that transfer come in from North Carolina, Storm Duck, that was expected to compete with him for that second cornerback spot, and he just blew him out of the water. And Storm Duck is now at Louisville.
You guys got Storm Duck? We
did for the spring, and then he's gone because he just got blown out of the water by Johnny Dixon. Yeah, he's so now Storm Duck is at Louisville because of how well Johnny Dixon has performed.
That's
right?
why they're getting hyped. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. Safety, you lose Jair Brown, which he absolutely dominated the defensive snaps for the safety position last year, playing way more than anybody else. It kind of committee the rest of the way. They will be by committee this year, but there have been people emerging. It's been a combination of old guys trying to hold off, or not a combination, but it's been a story of old heads trying to hold off really young, really great talent. And it sounds like the talent may have overtaken them by now. Reports hot off the presses from a couple hours ago at camp are that I don't know if he's a redshirt freshman or if he's a sophomore. I think he definitely played. Like, obviously, you can redshirt nowadays and still play, but he played a decent amount of snaps. I can't remember if he's actually took a redshirt last year, but KJ Winston looks like he's emerged as one of the starters, along with Jalen Reed, who's coming off an injury in the Rose Bowl. But you'll definitely see a lot of Keaton Ellis, who's a senior, who's played a lot of football for Penn State in there. He's a team captain as well. And then pair that with Zakee Wheatley, who was a ball hawk and played a lot last year as well, and created a number of turnovers last year as a sophomore. So a lot of young talent in there. One name to keep an eye out for. I don't know if he'll be able to make it on the field for a significant amount of play because of these four guys I mentioned before. But King Mack, a true freshman coming from St. Thomas Aquinas, small guy, 5'9", but you keep hearing his name every practice report, and he's been magnetized to the football, maybe not in the asshole, but magnetized to the football, ball hawk, is absolutely and hitting people. He's small, but he's coming up, and he's been holding his own physicality wise as well. So excited to see him. I'm sure we'll see him a ton on special teams, but maybe even getting in there a little bit and getting some defensive snaps when it matters. So all across the board, very excited about the defense. I do fully anticipate it being a top 10 to maybe even top 5 defense in the country. And Manny Diaz, he calls a chaotic defense. He's not afraid to blitz. He brings a lot of pressure from different places. They call it what do they call it? Democratizing blitzing is what they've called it. They've democratized blitzing. They've spread it out to everybody. Socialism here, and you'll see. I think Johnny Dixon had more sacks last year.
What would you say is Todd Grantham dictatorial blitzing?
Dictatorial.
Are you watching the Republican debate in the background?
Oh,
no.
I'm not. But I know that's currently on. We may be losing some viewers there. I don't see a strong following tonight, but we're all getting back up to speed here. I'll end on this. The special team. I'm very worried about this. Kicker has not been a strong suit. They're losing their long snapper, who won long snapper of the year last year. Didn't frankly know they had that award, but they lost him. A punter is gone also. So basically all across the board, new pieces there. Consistency, especially in these big games. It always comes down to a 2-game season, at least the last couple of years, or when Penn State's been good at it, right? A couple of 1-point losses to Ohio State in the late 20 odds. I'm very worried about the kicking game. I don't think they've settled on somebody. It sounds like they're like a former a current walk-on, maybe the leader in the clubhouse, which isn't good after you've spent like 2 scholarships on kickers, right? It's that's definitely got me nervous, and there hasn't been any clarity yet on that situation. So keep an eye on that as well as we make our way through the season. Which, let me pull up the schedule now.
Yeah, while you're doing that, Ken, I buried the lead on Pitt's punting. At one point, it was documented 3 punters used in one game. They had the bomber, they had the short yards, and they had the rugby.
Yeah,
they hit the transfer portal and pilfered Elon for their punter. Jeff Yerk. I don't know if that's going to be the starting punter or not, or maybe they'll just keep the triple Indy punting attack. We'll see.
They got the special.
Actually, I think they lost one of the guys. The Aussie guy, I think he transferred. Yeah,
is that the guy? Is that Chris Tadulo?
No, he's gone. He's gone. He was good.
Aside from the Penn State game.
Aside from holding and punting against Penn State, yeah, he was actually in a big
You can blame that on the rain, though. You can blame that on the rain.
It's tough to go against Penn State, a noted bad weather team.
Yes. Unless, maybe he didn't have enough voodoo from his old DOS, from his mentor. Yeah. Well, I've got the schedule up now. We've got West Virginia here, the 20.5-point underdogs at this point against Penn State on opening night.
Well, can we, before you go any further, can I welcome you to the primetime NBC slot?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Tell me, how is it? What do I do?
I want to mention one more thing. Don't look past week 2 because you know where you are week 2 as well.
The cock.
The cock. I'm on the cock. I'll have to get the free trial.
You're getting the full experience.
I don't know if I can get the free trial. I paid.
Why wouldn't you just go to that game?
I'm not going to that game. I can't make it to that game.
Do the
You're
day
trip. The full experience right out the gate. So welcome aboard.
Do you have a wedding or something?
Something of that nature, yes. Something of that nature. What do we have? Yeah, so West Virginia 20. I think I'll be interested to see. They're
something of that nature. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
I've got a musical event the evening before that may last into the early hours. But we shall see. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay.
We'll keep
here's the good thing about your schedule is both of yours. You could sim to Ohio State or.
No, I don't. I will not. I told you those 2 games right in the end of September.
I'm not skipping over Armstrong either.
Well, here. So the interesting thing about West Virginia here that I'll keep an eye on, we'll go over this next week, I'm sure, is the running game. They got that big-ass running back. What's his name, number 12?
Please.
Yeah, I forget his name already.
But I don't think we'll have an issue scoring points against them. I think Drew will light it up, and both running backs will have a good game. I think they'll lay 40 on them.
Yeah, it's whoever their James Conner, low rent James Conner running.
Yeah, it starts with an S or something like that, I think. But what I am worried about is a running team here, and they've got good linemen as well.
Yep.
A couple of all Big 12 linemen there with Milam and Nestor, right? Penn State obviously gave up like 400 yards against Michigan, and Illinois did the same against them 2 years ago. I want to see how they do and how that defensive line, that defensive tackles I mentioned before, hold up against them. But we'll talk about that next week. I do think it'll be a win. I do think Delaware, no offense, Joe Flacco, will be a win. This one, I am traveling. I am going to Champaign for this game.
So nice.
Very worried about it. They've got a couple of really good players on their defense here. Bert does. He loses Walters, obviously, which is a loss, and then a couple of the high round draft pick for the corner. But I'm worried. They've got a preseason. I think the preseason defensive player of the year also is on the defensive line, along with another All Big Ten guy.
Illinois.
They're on the road. Illinois.
If you're thinking playoff, we're not worried about Illinois.
I'm saying I am interested to see how he goes, how he does.
All about mindset here.
Big nude kickoff. They're going to be fired up. This is the most excited they've been about Illinois football in how many years, right? They came off a good year last year, started off really strong last year, lost a bad game against Michigan, and then kind of crumbled from there. But
all right, you're right.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how Drew performs in his first game on the road in the Big Ten. Iowa. I think Brian Ferentz will have his offense humming this year. He'll be stacking up the points in the first 3 weeks of the season. Because he knows he's gonna come into a buzzsaw here. Penn State fans not happy about how things went last time against Iowa, and I think they'll be out for blood. I don't think this will be a close game.
I don't think Iowa scores.
I think, I think it'll be hard pressed as well. I'm seeing
24-0.
I think more than that. I think a defensive score. I think Penn State will really run it up here if they get the chance. And it'll be a big opportunity. They're going to be under the lights, whiteout game. It's going to be a ranked matchup if things hold serve here. Iowa shouldn't lose, hopefully, before then. Probably a top 20 team. So there'll be a lot of eyes there. Though I think most of the eyes will be in South Bend, unfortunately. But a chance for Penn State to make a statement, and I think they will. Most people will be flipped over to South Bend, hopefully by halftime of that game. Northwestern, I think Penn State will be able to handle business there.
I'm thinking back-to-back shutouts. Actually, 3 in a row.
Shutout. So yes, Dan did say skip. I would sim with an eye on how things are going in Iowa. But yes, you can basically sim. You get the bye week, and then UMass, which is equivalent of another bye week, rest some guys, and then you got the trip into Columbus. I don't know how this team is going to be in Columbus. They still haven't even settled on a quarterback yet. I am really excited about Penn State here. I think they can get it done. I really do. Defensively, I really like how they stack up. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is amazing, and that receiving core is great. But I've got a lot of confidence in Penn State's secondary. I think they'll be able to hold, not their own necessarily, but I think they'll be able to do what's necessary and get their fair share of wins, which is important here. And more importantly, those 3 defensive ends that I talked about and the democratization of blitzing, they're breaking in 2 new offensive tackles. Both of them got drafted. One of them first rounder, another I think in the 4th or something like that. I'm excited about what Penn State can do against that offensive line from a defensive standpoint. So I think Penn State will get it done in Columbus. I do.
There we go.
I will pick a win. I will take a win there. I think Penn State will be number 1 or number 2 going into that game. We can skip past those next 2, though. Indiana never easy. You never like playing Indiana after Ohio State. I'll tell you
what
that.
the hell is SECU Stadium?
I think Penn State will be number 1 or number 2 when they play Michigan, who will also be number 2 or number 3 probably at that point. I think Penn State might jump them after.
They're not going to be number 1.
Yeah, they won't be number 1. They have a shit schedule. That's what I'm saying. So I think
Georgia. I would think Georgia.
It'll probably be, if things are going the way I see them, I think it'll be a 2-3 matchup here, with Penn State being number 2 off the virtue of the road win at Ohio State.
Over a 1 loss at the time, Ohio State.
Yes, at the time I'll have, and then over Michigan. I think they'll play Michigan.
A watered down. What if AY just takes a leak on that? Like this big build up?
Yeah, you're right. But it's still going to be a top 10 win at Ohio State.
True.
Right?
True. Yep.
So that'll give them enough munitions to jump Michigan, right? So they'll be number 2. Michigan will be number 3. It'll be another Titanic matchup.
Are we forgetting about a team
We're
here?
splitting hairs at this point. I just don't think.
It's going to be recency, right? Did they play Clemson at this point? But your guys,
not yet. We'll have wins over.
What if Georgia's incinerating, or excuse me, what if Michigan's just incinerating their entire ridiculous?
They're incinerating nobody though. They don't play anybody.
I know, but I'm saying, what if but if they beat,
Notre Dame will have wins over Ohio State and USC.
Okay. Well, I don't know about that USC, but okay.
It's like we're back in junior high right now talking about these teams.
All
right, I'm sorry, but yeah.
Okay, so
so get down to brass tacks. Are they beating Michigan?
Ass
tax. They lose in 34-8.
Are you beating Michigan?
I think I can't pick 12-0, can I?
You could.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy really because of what we don't know about the.
I'm scared of Michigan this year. I think Penn State probably lose to Michigan again this year. I am worried about Michigan this year.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to pick 12.
Fuck it, I'm picking them to win it. They'll win them. They've played Michigan tough.
Yeah,
and
they probably should have been 2 years ago.
I think they really had their pride hurt last year in that game, and I think they'll come out very motivated. And I think Penn State will take care of it. I think they'll win it.
All right.
Who knows? Maybe at that point, Jim Harbaugh already resigned to being an NFL coach. Who knows? So
yeah, I think it's crazy to do 12-0 with
12-0 is crazy,
but just because of the LR, the unknown. The unknown with him. That's the tough part, because I was saying I don't think they're at the point where they're like Alabama or Georgia where it's just plug in quarterback X. They're good without a doubt. You laid it up beautifully. But yeah, I think it's hard, and then I don't know that they've actually surpassed either Ohio State or Michigan. But maybe he'll be the real deal. I mean, you just don't want a Graham Mertz situation.
No, I don't. I'm so scared.
I think we've already seen enough where that's not going to be the case, though. Even in the little that he's played, and then the practice reports, you can send those to my hotel. I will wipe my ass with those.
Yes.
You have nothing else to go off of, so you have to, say something. But
sure.
I don't, and it's obviously against good competition that he's practicing against. But I do think the added, how the gamer rating is useless in that setting. Like, how much do you actually play? How well do you play and hold up with live rounds in a game that counts when you've got people coming on podcasts saying you're going to go 12-0? That's going to be the question. So we'll see. I don't know if you have anything to add, AY, or can you if you want to finish with everything. Again, provided you're not going to pick Rutgers to spoil this whole party.
I am thinking 12-0 here.
All right. So I think I want to see the 3-11-1s and then entire cannibalization have like maybe a 5-3 Big Ten West winner for old time's sake. I just don't. I don't see how. Definitely,
you
cannot find a third loss.
Yeah, you can't find a third loss. Yeah,
you really can't. So I'll get crazy and.
You're going 11-1, aren't you?
Yeah, I won 3-11-1s in this division. I do. I won it, and I want the Harbaugh with the classic image of him in 2016 after the overtime spot. Something to that effect. And I don't know what it'll come down to at that point. What was the tiebreaker back then again?
That one wasn't a tiebreaker of 3 teams, though, because at that point, Michigan
that
had
was
lost
Michigan's.
twice. Yeah,
Yeah,
Michigan would have lost twice in conference.
They just had the head-to-head, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's a
But
good
had
segue.
Michigan won
Against Iowa.
then it still would have been a 2-team. Okay. So
It had Michigan won against Iowa, then it would have been a 3-team.
That's right.
Michigan,
That's right.
Michigan
I always
would
forget
have-
that game.
Michigan, no, it wouldn't have been a 3-team tie then. Then Michigan would have had head-to-head over Penn State because Ohio State would have had 2 losses then.
And I would flip-flop. I would say, I know you wavered more on the Michigan game. I would say they're more likely to win that game than at Ohio State.
Right.
So, I don't know. Yeah, it should be fun. Even with if the LR is Graham Mertz, honestly, I don't see a third loss here.
Exactly. Alarm being Graham Mertz could get him 11 wins.
True. If it's the Graham Mertz from that, what was
From
the
that
opener
one
where he
game,
threw
from
those?
the Illinois game.
Yeah, the
Mertz
Illinois
was
game. It's like the Joe Milton against Minnesota. That's what Roth's thinking. Roth wants Joe Milton for
Minnesota. That's
top
Cam
10.
Newton.
Could you believe what were they in the AP poll? But I couldn't believe they were number 10 in the coaches poll.
That's
Some
Cam Newton
respect
in front of-
that's probably not earned, frankly.
Mm.
To be honest. Although I was dying that I saw one Jamoke giving a huge, I am a noted critic, if nothing else, of Josh Heupel.
Yeah.
You can't lose games with the UCF roster. You can't lose games to freaking Tulsa. I'm sorry, you just can't. That was a pretty loaded. That was a talent surplus they had against the whole conference. Yeah. And they lost the game to Tulsa. I will hold that against him. Had he beat Scar, I probably wouldn't have. If he had beat Scar and went 11-1 and Hendon Hooker didn't get hurt.
Do you hold it against him that he lost to you guys?
We were the favorite. What are you talking about? Road favorite. The game that last year was bizarre. That would have been.
Oh, the one. Am I thinking of last year?
Well, 2 years ago, Pitt was favored there.
At UCF.
At Tennessee.
Oh no, I'm talking about when you beat.
Oh, the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 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 That was.
That you're holding that against them too.
Those are the ones that, as I said, those are the ones that keep you coming back.
Yeah. All right.
AY, do you have a pick? You have to give yours.
Yeah. He's thinking Penn State in the playoffs, so I'm thinking 11-1 from him.
Well, the only thing that bones Penn State is if there's 3 11-1s, which is not going to be, but in the conference, if there's 3 7-1, 8-1, how many games you play?
Yeah, 8-1s. Yep.
The tiebreaker goes to the other side of the conference division win percentage, and Penn State.
Which Penn State has Iowa and Illinois.
But they
remember, I want the cannibalization of the West.
No, you'll lose out to their 2 teams in the win percentage.
They got Wisconsin or Ohio State.
You've got Northwestern.
You got Northwestern. I went through all this. You guys would lose out. Ohio State's not going 11-1, so it doesn't matter. But in conference, it's going to matter.
But that's good because Penn State will be sitting at home with an 11-1 record.
It comes down to the Michigan game, which I think Michigan, Ohio State. I think you'll beat Ohio State, lose to Michigan, 11-1. Allard, I don't. He's fine. I think Yursich is the main
he's fine.
Yursich is the main thing here. He's going to put him in good spots.
I like what I'm
I think Yursich is very underrated, and it's going to get a ton of praise later in the year. And 11-1, and I think they sneak in the playoff.
What if we have those 3 teams and then Georgia in the playoff? That'd be hilarious.
If they get Georgia in the playoff, then
AY's thinking Georgia, Notre Dame, Michigan, and Penn State in the playoff.
It's down to now. Notre Dame is going to lose out to Clemson. I think Clemson's got revenge on their mind this year.
Ooh, that's true. That'll be a fun one.
But
you want to dive in?
Yeah,
I mean, since you took my lot of time, I'll be brief.
All right.
I got it off on the wrong foot by going over 11 minutes.
How many did I go?
I said there's a lot more weight, around 30. There's
40.
40.
No,
I because I looked up, I finished up around 28, 29 minutes. We're over an hour
Oh
now.
God! So I went 40 minutes. Holy
You're
shit!
being kind again. But anyways, look, if you want to learn more,
There was
Notre
way
Dame,
too much wavering on the schedule. You could have extremely left the
schedule breakdown.
the Iowa or Illinois
yeah.
on the cutting room.
Like I'm worried about that. You know I'm worried.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you had your time in the sun.
We did this in what year was it when they played at Illinois on a Friday night? It was the same nonsense.
Oh, okay. They did win. That was a struggle though for a little bit.
It was.
Okay. For Notre Dame.
105 on the dot, AY.
105 on the dot, and we finally get to America's team.
America's team. Oh my gosh.
Look, this all right, so we got some new pieces this year, obviously. Best quarterback since Brady Quinn, right? Depending how you feel about Clausen. Look, we all love Ian Book, but he has limitations.
I like the slippery book. I
like Book too.
I like them too. Don't get me wrong, I like them too. Tom Reese is gone. Before I forget to mention it, a huge gone here is Mason, the special teams coach, now with the Colts. Remember those block punts the Irish had last year?
Yeah.
Incredible. Now you got this Biaggi. I think it's Biaggi.
Biggio?
Maybe he's understudy. I don't know, but
Greg Biggio.
Let me look it up. That block punt thing was really fun. And now it could be gone. So Mason is at the Colts. Yeah, Marty Biaggi steps in for special teams. Blake Grupe's gone. So back to what everyone's talking about, the quarterback, Sam Hartman. We know who Sam Hartman is. If you want an in-depth breakdown on depth charts and practice reports, go read everyone who slobs on Notre Dame's, you know what, because everyone's had a good camp, believe it or not.
Same with Penn State's.
Everyone's had a good camp. But I'm trying to sift through, the BS, the smoke screen, and what I did come to, it really comes down to offensive guards, the D line. Obviously, receivers are a weakness, like you guys are alluding to with, Penn State pass catchers, a little down from recent years, and which Notre Dame's calling card has been the D line recently. And now that's the weakness on defense. And the weakness was cornerbacks, and now it's a strength. So we'll see how that plays out. You got Sam Hartman, Audric Estime. Those guys are back. Michael Mayer, he's gone. The whole lineage of Notre Dame tight ends. Where does it fall to now? We're off a cliff for a year. You got Mitchell Evans, Sherwood. We got freshmen. We got nothing to go here. Who's the fourth string? Who has been taught up at camp? Holden Stays.
Oh yes, very nice.
Yeah, he's actually more up to the
former
second
Penn State commit.
He might get him with like 13 personnel, but we're taking a year off on that. Receiving core. I guess it's like this is kind of like a chicken and egg question. Is anyone good? Probably not. But can they be good? Can Hartman make them be good? I don't know if we're gonna. I guess we're gonna find out. Jaden Thomas is most likely to be that number one, but is he a true number one? No. Is Matt Salerno still there? Yes.
Salerno.
He's been returning punts for 9 years now. Tobias Merriweather, Rico Flores, Chris Tyree moved to receiver.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, even with Logan Diggs transferring out, Tyree being that, third down back, pass catching back.
Is it because they've got Devin Ford now? They don't need him at running back.
Perhaps. We'll see him. Jeremiah Love, they're not lawn boys back there, but estimates pretty nice.
Say, does he own the IP for lawn boys, though, Devin Ford?
He's got stock. He's definitely got stock.
He's got
stock. Just like Penn State, the left tackle position is very strong with Joe Alt. Spin to the other side, Christophic. Zeke Corral, a little banged up in practice, but he's fine. O-line should be very good. Yeah, we'll go very good. Remember how bad they were beginning of last year? God, that was freaking frustrating.
They were pretty bad.
That was pretty bad. And end of the year, they got pretty good. I want to mention one more guy. I hate mentioning looked good in practice, but your boy Cam been getting some pretty rave reviews. Old Steve Angeli.
Oh, angel hair.
If
Angel
he
hair is
sees if he
Mr.
sees the field,
Spaghetti.
then
Mr.
I
Spaghetti.
return a lot of trouble. But Angeli, jeez, he better not see the field. Buckner's gone. Drew Pine hurt his hamstring, not
I heard
starting.
Buckner's running 3 right now in Tuscaloosa.
Doesn't surprise me. Drew Pine running,
I mean, you're not rooting
2
for
out in
Felly
the desert with his hamstring injury. So all these guys are gone and not playing elsewhere. Go over to defense. The D line is obviously, we know from recent years, Foskey with the Viper. Who's the Viper this year? Jordan Botello. Where was he last year? On the other side. Who's on the other side? The old Ohio State transfer, JBJ, Javonte Jean Baptiste.
Jean-Baptiste. But he didn't really play very much.
No, he didn't. But sometimes
you just need to change the scenery.
All you need.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
I don't know how good he is. We'll see. Biggest riser in reports. Jalen Sneed, Rover linebacker. But the linebackers are so old. Leah Fowl, long hair, still there. J.D. Bertrand, Jack Kaiser, which would be good for week 1. They're not the fastest guys. Are they smart? Are they experienced? Yes, they know what they're doing. Riley Mills, probably the center of the defense, the D tackle. He played a ton last year. I think he was on Feldman's freak list, where he was last year, where he should be. Howard Cross, been there forever. Burnham, Anye. Donovan Heinisch, younger brother of Kurt Heinisch, who I think to this day, I think he used way too much eye black and could have been accused of a certain thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
As long as he kept some parts a little.
Yeah.
He missed a few parts. That's all right.
I think it was close. The strength of the defense is the 2 cornerbacks, Cam Hart and Benjamin Morse. Just awesome. Safeties, though, DJ Brown, Xavier Watts. DJ Brown's been there for 6 years. He's fine. Xavier Watts, fine. And Brandon Joseph came in last year and started. He was fine. But safeties, just thinking of Marvin Harrison, like you were saying, Ken. Cam Hart and Benjamin Morrison, they can D him up to an extent, but even the best cornerbacks in college football, it's gonna be hard to. It's gonna be.
Well, I mean, you play him. He's.
Yeah. I mean, he's
winning 40 to 50% of your reps is a win.
Yeah, which I think Hart or Morrison can do. Morrison's getting pegged on a lot of these. He's second team all whatever. I mean, there's a million teams now, so it's not saying a ton, but he's good. Marvin Harrison is really good. Kicker, bring guys in. Punter, bring guys in. Salerno probably returning punts. Estime returning kicks. I think that was just a one-day thing. Look, overall, it's pretty simple. Hartman, do your thing. Estime, beast. Receiver, somebody. Anybody. Just, anybody. Step up. And I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. Is Hartman going to just have to do it all on his own with the run game, complementing it? And like Ken was alluding to off air, I guess it all kind of comes back to we'll go French with him. Gerard Parker.
Steven Gerrard Parker.
That's all those French films you've been watching.
Yeah, it's just in my head. How's he going to be taking off for Tom Rees? I don't know. I mean, everywhere you read, it's obviously pure optimism because you can't write anything else because then you can't interview him. But he called what? He co-called plays for West Virginia. I don't know. They're on the game for a while. We'll see. I don't think we're going to learn much the first week or two. Like maybe we'll try to make a splash. I don't know. Once we get to NC State, I think that's when, after that game, we'll know more about Girard. And Freeman on defense with Al Golden, obviously overseeing the D. Well, Freeman overseeing it, Al Golden calling it. I don't know. I thought this
not,
go.
He does not go shirt and tie on the sideline, correct?
No.
As a coordinator?
Not anymore. He didn't last year, at least.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
He was up in the booth last year.
He was yelling.
Maybe not every game. I know he was in the booth, but I feel like he was on the field at some point too. Maybe that was halftime. Anyways, let's get into the schedule here because, like I was saying, Hartman, Estime, line's good. Receivers and tight ends, question marks. D-line, Patello, Mills, Spots, Howard Cross, Jean-Baptiste. Linebackers, veterans, not great, not bad. Quarterbacks, great. Safeties, not great. And special teams units, coaching, hopefully still very good. On the schedule, though, Navy week 1. They're going to cover that game. Tennessee
Watch
State.
your body clocks. Watch your body clocks.
Staying overnight after that game, flying back to Tennessee State. Just don't get hurt, Tennessee State. Just win, I don't care, 24, 30, whatever. First FCS team ever for the Irish. At NC State, Astrong, noon kick. Tricky spot. It's going to be taken seriously.
I'm looking at that Tennessee State logo. It looks like a knockoff Memphis State logo.
Yeah.
It does. I think Irish going to Raleigh, win by 10.
11. 31 to 20.
CMU win. Ohio State at home. Catching 8 right now. I'll take all 8 of those points. And I'll triple sprinkle that money line.
Ooh.
I think Irish win that game.
Whoa!
Yeah, we'll win that game.
Why not?
Win at Duke. Louisville -4. Trap City.
People love the
Oh, man. We have conflicting thoughts on the Ville.
Storm Duck. Storm Duck.
The
Storm Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not changing my thoughts on Louisville with the Storm Duck news.
Beat Louisville. USC at home. Catching 2.5.
Oh.
That's a win, too.
Caleb.
It's a win at Clemson.
Oh.
That's a loss. Home to Wake at Stanford win. 11-1. They finish.
Oh,
fifth.
my gosh.
5th in the college football playoff. Right behind number 4, Penn State.
Oh, I was wondering, could you imagine the drama?
3 is going to be.
I'm thinking.
3 is Michigan. 2 is Clemson. 1 is Georgia. I don't think Clemson's that good. I just think they're going to navigate.
I don't think they're that good either. Yeah.
I think they're getting the doors blown off by Michigan.
I'm going 9-3. Sorry to. But that would be hilarious if it was down to Penn State and Notre Dame for the 4th playoff spot.
Wouldn't it? That would be funny.
Yeah.
I think they could get USC. I'll take L's for the other 2 though. So 10-2.
There was a Pete Sampson, the athletic writer for Notre Dame, put out every year does like a Ask Notre Dame fans poll, survey, whatever, and it was the main question I was intrigued by was the combination of of the 3 big games, which one do you want to win the most? And it was overwhelming Ohio State.
Yeah.
But then second was clearly, there was multiple options, but Clemson was a distant third. Like Clemson's
Yeah.
Well, because they did it already last year.
I would say
Exactly,
that dragged
yeah.
its lane.
But I think after last year with USC, it was just a frustrating game. Just playing on the back foot. It was 10-14 immediately, and then just a stalemate from there. But Caleb Williams was so freaking slippery that game.
As he is every game, I think, except for against Utah.
As he's very good.
Except for against Utah.
Is it too early to put a place a stupid loss tax on any Notre Dame football prediction because of
Duke.
how bad both were.
Duke.
How bad both were last year.
I mean, there's.
I shouldn't say both. Marshall was obviously incredibly bad. They almost lost to Cal.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, there's
that first month of the season. That first month of the season was incredible.
There's definitely some landmines out here. I mean, at Duke, at Louisville, Duke.
How's Sam going to feel against playing against his old team?
How's he feel? I mean, I don't.
Do you feel like he'll have some emotions on senior day against his old team?
I want some slow mesh.
Probably. You would
some homage, paying some homage.
November Notre Dame is historically recent historic.
I could see
has been lights out.
I could see them that sandwich right in there on Halloween weekend. They're coming off a bye, but in between those two big games.
Let down, look ahead. Sandwich spot.
They're coming off a bye though. That seems very prime. That seems very prime, actually.
Off a big win over USC, then a bye. Yeah. Going back to your boys, hearing how good you are.
Yeah. Undefeated. Think about undefeated. Yeah, Clemson out. Did just Halloween. People thinking about the Halloween parties that night.
Great. Here you go, Dan.
All right. Okay.
I can see that. I could see that for sure.
I'm cracking up. Their OC was the interim for Hazel when he got canned at Purdue. That's amazing.
Gerard was.
Yep.
He's a Penn State receivers coach.
Yep.
So there's my playoff. Do you guys have any changes to yours?
I'm kind of wanting to pick 3 Big Ten teams, and
I might go 2-2. I'm going Georgia, Bama, and
I don't think Bama's good. I'm more on the LSU hype machine.
I'm not. I think I like Bama actually this year.
I think they're going to go back Bama or LSU eat themselves. Florida State loses.
Georgia. I don't know what the hell they're going to do on an offense. They got 3 months to figure it out. Their number 2 running back just ruptured his patella. He's out for the season. The number 1 running back's been dealing with the hamstring all camp. Their other guy is coming off an ACL he suffered last year. That's their top 3 backs all in some form or fashion dinged up. And then they just named what's his name? Not Vandergriff. What's his name? Is it Vandergriff? Or did the other one get Carson Beck? Sorry, not Brock Vandergriff. And then they don't have any receivers. All the receivers are gone too. I don't know what they're going to do.
I think they'll be all right.
They got Bowers. They got Brock.
This is the time where
Brock is going to be running the hand. He's going to be running handoffs out of the backfield. He's going to be doing everything.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine.
I'm sure they will.
Can somebody pick Oregon so we can get the Bo Nix hype train rolling?
No, I think out west everybody's going to beat themselves up. Nobody's coming out of there unscathed.
The only team I would ever pick, of course, is Washington.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah, no one out west.
I think I would pick Texas if they didn't play Alabama non-conference. But I think they'll get another second loss in there as well. So I think they'll have 2.
They'll get in their own way.
Yeah, that 2. Probably 3, you're right. I'll go 2-2. I'm going 2-2. I'll go Penn State, Michigan, I guess. Wow. Can you imagine if Day is the one that gets left out here?
Oh, I was going to say that. Day.
Yeah, because he's done it the last 2 years.
Yeah. Well, he's made it.
No, not last year.
He made it last year, but
yeah, that's right.
He's coming off 2 losses to Michigan.
Questions. Yeah. Day's got a 3-loss season.
You're not the first. You're not the first to tell me this.
He's going to have questions. He's going to lose to Michigan, Penn State, and Notre Dame.
Wow.
All because of
I'm putting all 3 with the. I mean, it's college. We didn't touch on the realignment and everything, but let's make it as wacky as could be. I will go 3 Big Ten teams in Georgia.
That'd be something.
Play.
That would
12-1 and then 2 11-1.
That would be something.
I mean, is the path that inconceivable?
No.
To where it would be nobody outside, obviously the SEC and Big Ten threatening. That's what I'm going off of. I think it'd be hilarious. And to what, like, you wouldn't have, would you even entertain an 11-2 champion from the Pac-12 or the Big 12 or the ACC?
No, definitely
Over
not.
one of those three teams?
No,
yeah,
absolutely not.
It was 11-1 or 12-1.
No.
Yeah.
But I do think I can definitely see an undefeated or a one-loss Clemson this year.
Yeah,
Not
and
like AY said, not because they're good, but because
it almost happened last year, and then they completely soiled them. Well, I was banging the drum that saying not because I thought they were good, but because I was like, yeah, this could happen. And North Carolina up until they lost to Georgia Tech. Like they might put one of these teams in if they're 12-1.
There is like every year there's one of those teams who get there and aren't great. I mean, Notre Dame's been one of those teams. TCU,
Michigan State.
I had Michigan State. I had somebody else in my head too.
That Oklahoma team with Hurts wasn't that good.
Like these teams are deserving due to what they've done, but are they good?
They are they are a big step down at number 4. You're saying
but you can't. Well, obviously we're going. Although who knows? They get to backtrack the 12-teamer. I don't know if I'll plan on caring at this point, but they potentially get to backtrack it with the realignment from 12 to whatever 8 or 4 again.
4, yeah,
because they don't need 12 teams if there's only going to be 37 teams that matter.
I think they will keep it at 12. I think they'll keep it at 12, if only for the television inventory.
Right.
The only, maybe the one positive for me of all this futuristic TV realignment stuff is maybe one day we do get, they say, screw it, the money's too good, y'all getting paid. You're playing 20
Oh,
game
yeah, I hope the
seasons.
players get all of it, yeah.
And you're playing 20-game seasons, and we're going to get you a 64-team bracket.
Yeah.
That'd be freaking crazy.
If the money's there, they're getting paid.
They'll eventually, maybe like 2045, they'll have to do that.
Yeah,
They'll
have to figure out how to not have concussions and play in bubbles.
Exactly, yeah.
And bubble suits.
It's coming. That would be glorious. Just give me 32. I'll be fine with that.
Let's see week 0. We're at an hour and a half now. Not in large part, or not me not helping us being here at an hour and a half. Let's hit the week 0.
We know the drill by now. It's year 9. Flash Johnson, by the way, disagrees with the dump trucking of Navy. Flash Johnson unavailable to join us tonight via chat because he is at a Ghost concert. If you guys are familiar with Ghost. Some sort of a rock.
Navy's going to get dump trucked.
So he's got Navy, and then also the Mac Bias. He is a Kent State fan. Mac Bias in full effect. He said Ohio +3. It's down to 2.
Can we also give a hat tip to the Mac for standing on the sidelines of all this rodeo fiasco?
Staying strong.
True to themselves for the last 25 years. I love that.
Do we not have a document open right now for week 0?
Probably not. There's only 7 games.
No, I do on my personal account. I'll share it with you guys for future reference.
I know. Wait, we never actually count these toward our record, I feel like.
It says your storage is full. You can't upload new file to this drive.
And the whole way try?
Yeah.
I must have canceled the storage subscription.
I'll share it with your personal emails for the future.
And then
do you want to pick these games?
What could be taking up the storage? Do we have audio files in here?
I backed up a bunch of audio files. Coincidentally, right before the laptop that had the rest of them got stolen back in 2020. Yep.
All right, let's go. You read them off then, while you're driving here, since you got them.
All right, I don't want more than a few words. UTEP, Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's getting 1.
Rich Rod debut.
Clean sweep for Richie. UMass at New Mex State going out west desert. Remember this trip last year when it was in UMass?
Jake
New
Hill.
Mexico State laying 6.5. They went in there last year and took out UMass. They're going to take them out again. Aggies.
I'm going back to the UTEP though. They still have that guy, right? Frank Harris.
That's Utsa. You're
I
thinking
don't
of.
know.
Oh, never mind then. Yeah, I'll take
UTSA.
Rich Rod. I'll go Rich Rod.
I got UMass losing by a field goal. The first I had to get my hands on the first hedging P of the season.
I'll go Kill.
Jake Hill
Yep.
off the bowl win.
Yes.
Eating the chocolate pop. Ohio, San Diego State. Where's Flash Johnson going?
Flash Johnson has the Bobcats.
He's got Mac Pride.
I'm sure he texted me Curtis Rourke and I replied, there has been a Rourke quarterbacking Ohio
15 years.
Since the Bush administration, yes.
Yeah. Well, his brother had that huge play against Jacksonville, right? Yeah, the nice play in the preseason game. Is that
I
him?
don't know.
I don't know.
I'm playing the short number with the Aztecs.
As technicians trying to continue to show that they are should be invited to the Pac-10 or Pac-12. They will impress.
All right. I'll go technicians also. Flash Johnson's got us covered in case Ohio wins.
Yeah.
We're all ass. Hawaii, Vandy, 17.5.
I mean,
Vanderbilt does not have a stadium, right? You've seen those pictures?
We have
played at a
LLs
few.
all over that.
Yes, very good. LL all over it. Chevin is still there, I think, right?
I don't think so at this. Even he can't be there at this point.
You
I'm laying it.
I'll lay it to Clark Lee is good. I like him. Let's see if Chevin is still there. I'll lay it.
No, Chevin actually transferred to Josie State, I believe.
Oh yeah, he is. You're right.
I don't know if he's still there, but
He looks to be still there.
speaking of which,
Speaking of which, they are up next.
yeah, I'm laying the points with SC.
Was it 35?
Are we all on
30.
Vandy?
I'm
on
on.
Van.
Yeah, we saw it play out last year.
Yeah.
SC, Josie. I'm on Josie.
What is it? 35?
31.
31. I'm laying. You know I lay it here.
Can loves the lay it.
Laying the lead putt. And then FIU, are they sporting their Miami Vice black and pink? I will go Louisiana Tech because they are at home.
I'm
Very
going
good.
FIU. I mean, this is. I don't even know that I'll have the strength to watch this game. That's a tough matchup.
McIntyre is the coach here. Oh,
The Mac Attack, exactly. That was my pick all along. I was going to say they do it for Butch Davis, even though he was fired, but forgot the Mac Attack was there. Yeah, I'm taking the
I'm
points.
looking at their page. He got extended through 2027.
Nice.
Must be doing a good job.
Yep.
Where are you going in the last one?
Walking through a cloud full of chili farts, as it once was
Which
said.
is actually the first one.
This is
Irish.
McIntyre got the extension off a 4-8 season. That's very good.
Yep.
They had lost 18 of the past 19 games before his arrival.
Irish Navy.
I'll lay the 20.5.
I'll lay it as well.
We're all laying it.
Flash has got us covered in case we're wrong.
All right, we'll lock it up then, and I'll put the bet in. I'll bet it.
I am locking up. I'm locking up Vandy, since this is an exercise of week 0.
Just getting our feet under us again.
Yep. We'll have to check the official. I don't think we have counted that traditionally.
I have it all on a spreadsheet. I'll forward. Yeah, I think you guys have access to it. I'll bring it to light tomorrow.
Yep.
It mostly should be tabulated. Okay, week 0. Team previews.
In the books.
Playoffs in the books.
We
We will see you
very soon.
week 1 preview. We'll be just jump right in the thick of it. Fired up. This got me fired up. For me, anybody from Eagle State Capital, Blue State, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, D-Berg to my west,
Right all.
and Can to my east.
Have a great night. We're close,
Thank you for
guys.
listening. We will see you next week for week 1. Have a good one.